Guess who's anxious? You know, when you make a commitment to do something and you say yes to something and you're like, yeah, it's fine, like I can do it easy, like sure, push myself outside my comfort zone, have a new experience, it will be fine, I'll do it, I'll smash it. And then it gets closer and closer to the day and you're suddenly like, oh god, I can't do it. Yeah, I said yes to something and that something is happening tomorrow night. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not feeling it right now. Here's the thing, I know I'm capable, I know I can do it, I know it'll be fine, whatever. But I have a habit of building things up in my head to be very negative and very scary, even though it's probably gonna take like 5 seconds and then it's gonna be over. By this time tomorrow night, it will literally be over, so maybe I'll rant about it in the description when I upload this video. Here's the thing, it's like not a big deal. Like if I told you what it was, you would say, why are you even stressing, this isn't a big deal. But my body can't tell the difference between meeting new people and standing up in front of said new people and announcing something and being stalked by a polar bear. So yeah, my body is currently in a state of fight or flight because I have to do some public speaking, basically. But it's fine. I'm going to treat it like a social experiment. I'm going to treat it like just, exposure therapy. And yeah, you can only ever grow with new experiences. So I'm going to try and be excited about it rather than just nervous. That being said, when I am nervous and anxious, I like to yap. And we've also established last video that I uploaded that I like to talk about things that piss me off because apparently I'm a negative person and that's the thing that gets me passionate, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about something that is really irritating me recently and just the absolute idiocy and ridiculousness of beauty standards. I don't know if those are words, but I'm going to say that they are words. But yeah, I've made videos about this before, so I hope I'm bringing some new points to the table and not just repeating myself. But even if I am repeating myself, I think it's still things that the world unfortunately needs to hear, because if anything, the situation is getting worse. Like, I don't know, 2025, the year, I don't know. It's not been anyone's year, I don't think, I don't know. I'm not going to put that negative energy out there because we still have some months to go, but yeah. Basically, the thing that I saw that made me want to talk about this was I was scrolling through TikTok the other day, as you do, and I came across some TikToks that were about one of my favourite shows that I love a lot. And not that it matters, but the whole cast is just beautiful, they're gorgeous, whatever. And I would say in the grand scheme of things, it is quite a recent show, but it did come out quite a few years ago. So obviously the actors are going to age and look a bit different, like that's totally normal and obviously should be celebrated and just treated like a normal thing because aging is a normal thing and it's a part of life. But the video I came across was basically comparing two actresses that were in the show and seeing how one had aged really beautifully and hadn't aged a day, and the other had aged horribly and looked like, and I quote, an old hag. There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, I can tell you that both of these women are stunning and beautiful, and to call one an old hag is just completely horrendous behaviour. It makes me so sick and it makes me cringe so much to think about the type of human being that would think of the concept to make this video and then actually go through with it and make it and actually post it online without a second thought. Like, it is so normal now to just compare beauty and put others down, especially as well if we're raising someone else up. We always then have to drag someone down for some reason. Like, we can't just praise someone or praise, two women. We have to compare. And it's just so normalised to shame women for aging and not looking how they did when they were 20. Even though, in my opinion, everyone ages so beautifully, and I think there is always beauty to be seen in every phase of life. But we are so obsessed with the youth, and we're so obsessed with having one idea of beauty. And it's so normal to just hide behind a screen and be horrible to someone, especially out of a place of insecurity and just wanting to make yourself feel better. even younger people, especially girls who are now just so obsessed with skincare and aging, it's so crazy to me. Just, like, let children be children. Why are we worried about wrinkles when we are 11 years old? It's wild to me. And I think we're raising a generation of arseholes. Like, we are raising a generation of self-obsessed, insecure, horrible brats who think beauty is everything and beauty is one thing and clear skin is everything, and they're going to grow up to be wildly insecure, and in turn they're just going to want to make other people feel insecure, and they're not going to be taught that, like, aging is normal and not looking 20 when you're 40 years old is okay and it's beautiful and there's nothing to be ashamed of it and you shouldn't tear down other women for it. And I feel like the cycle will just go round and round, and I don't know, it's worrying and really irritating to think about, but that's just my opinion. And it got me thinking about, weirdly enough, just like glow up videos. And these videos where content creators, mainly women, like young women, who will post like glow up with me in 24 hours and whatever. And I know it's not that deep. I really enjoy these videos. I enjoy them as much as anyone else. I think they can be really fun and playful, and it's a great message to give your audience to just prioritize yourself and give yourself self-care. But what I've noticed with a lot of these creators is that they speak very poorly about themselves in the videos, and there will always be a thumbnail of like a before and an after of the creator or the influencer, whatever. And on the before picture, she'll be pulling a funny face or a disgusted face, and the words around the picture will say things like ugly or crusty or tired or dull or whatever, essentially just degrading and being really horrible to themselves. And then after, they'll most likely be wearing makeup and their hair will be done and their nails will be done and they'll look happy, or they'll be serving face or whatever, which is great, right? They're confident, they've quote glown up, good for them, that's great. But I think it's sending the wrong message to sometimes very vulnerable audiences. And I think these videos are very much part of the problem. Now, I'm not attacking these creators who make this sort of content, and I'm not blaming them by any means, but I think they do have a certain sort of responsibility, not only to the people who watch them, but also just to themselves, to take a step back and just rethink how they present these kind of videos and how they talk to themselves and how that is actually affecting themselves as well as the people watching them. A couple of things to point out. First of all, I have massive amounts of respect to anyone who puts themselves out there online and makes content, and massive amounts of respect for anyone in the public eye willing to be open and vulnerable about mental health or insecurities or just how they feel, especially if it's negative or quote negative. It takes a lot of courage to do that. And it is an amazing way to show others that, hey, insecurities are okay, struggling is okay. These are just things that happen in life and we're all human. We're allowed to have off days or bad days or moments where we find it hard to be positive or see good in ourselves, and that's okay. But I think there's definitely a difference between talking about insecurities and trying to handle it in a way that is good for yourself and acknowledging how you feel and feeling it so you can then move past it, as opposed to just talking down about yourself in a really horrible way and almost normalizing being horrible to yourself for the most ridiculous reasons. And again, I'm not blaming these creators for doing this because it is so easily done. I feel like when I scroll on TikTok or just anywhere, but I'm using TikTok as an example, we are always exposed to like a million trillion new products that we must have now to fix all of these problems with ourselves and our appearance that, I otherwise didn't even notice or didn't even know were problems until they were pointed out to me and presented to me in that negative way. And I think we have such a sheep mentality that everyone just jumps on board and is like, oh my gosh, yeah guys, this thing that is perfectly natural and normal is actually a huge problem and does make you look really awful, so you should probably think about fixing it or it will be really embarrassing for you. I remember just randomly going on TikTok one day and the new thing to worry about was smile lines, and for a hot minute I was so insecure about my smile lines, which by the way, were a thing I never noticed before. And not just in myself, but in other people as well. Like, I never looked for them, I never noticed them, they were never a big problem to me until TikTok made them be a problem. And it was only until I was watching a show, again, all the actors were beautiful, they were, stunning, whatever. But I noticed that in the opening scene of the show, on the episode that I was watching, it was the main character, and it was just her, and she was going for a run, and because smile lines were on my mind, because I was made to feel insecure about them, I noticed that she had smile lines, but she didn't look any different. She still looked stunning, she still looked the same. I would never judge her for them, or anyone for that matter. I would have never even noticed them had it not been for social media making them such a big thing. And that is when something clicked in my brain, and I thought, like, oh, nothing matters, like, none of this shit matters, it's all just BS. But I think, yeah, it's so easy now to just get in the mindset of judging ourselves for tiny little things just because other people on social media are telling us that suddenly this thing on our face that we didn't really notice before is actually really bad and ugly. And, they want to sell us this product to get rid of it, because at the end of the day, it's just all to do with money, really. But I imagine for these content creators whose careers and livelihoods are centered around social media and content, it must be even harder for them to get away from all of that. And unfortunately, maybe it is easier for them to fall into the habit of apologizing for themselves and the way they look, because they've been, almost brainwashed into thinking that everything about them is awful or bad or ugly, even though their features are, normal and beautiful and unique or whatever. And, us watching the content, we wouldn't even think to look for or judge or notice or whatever. And so even though they want to be a positive influence or inspire people and do the right thing by their audience, they kind of become part of the problem by normalizing this habit of apologizing for yourself when you shouldn't have to, or reinforcing this idea that, yeah, that feature you have on your face is bad and you should feel bad about it. So yeah, again, there's a difference between, hey guys, I'm so sorry, I look so disgusting today, I have this particular thing on my face right now, so I have to change it, and I look so horrible and I have to cover it up right now, and guys, I'm so sorry, this is so embarrassing, as opposed to, hey guys, I have this thing on my face right now, or maybe I've had it for a while, I don't know, this is just purely hypothetical, but it's making me feel down right now, and that's okay, I'm just going to feel it and try and be nice to myself, even though I feel a bit crap today. And yeah, I do think it's important that if you're a content creator to have some level of self-awareness and awareness of what language you use about yourself, and also how that language might translate for your audience and how it might make your audience feel about themselves. But I also think on the other side of that, it's also so important that as a consumer and a watcher of this content that we also have self-awareness and take it with a grain of salt too. I think it works both ways. I'm also just not expecting a 17-year-old content creator to have the same level of self-awareness as I do as a 23-year-old, We are all at different stages of our lives, or we all have had different experiences and life lessons, and we're all just learning and coming back to ourselves. So I think we all just need to be a bit nicer to ourselves, but also to each other. And when I do see a content creator talking badly or putting themselves down, I will try and comment and just change their mindset. I know one little comment's not going to change their whole life, but kindness goes a long way. I'm usually a silent viewer. And like I said, I know one comment from a stranger is not going to change their whole life. But just spreading positivity and trying to help and putting a good word out there, it can help to make the world a better place. And I get so angry and annoyed when I see people talk down about themselves, and not at them, but just this society that we've built that reinforces the idea that it is normal and okay and expected from us to cover up and apologise and feel ashamed about our normal beautiful faces. One vlogger that I watch, I absolutely love, and I think she's just stunning, and she was talking a bit negatively about herself in some of her videos, and a lot of people were picking up on it and noticing it and just kind of being like, you're beautiful and whatever. And I left a little comment. I normally don't really comment, but I left a comment. I was like, she's probably not going to see this, but I'm just going to say, hey girly, I think you're beautiful. I know this means nothing coming from a stranger, but I think you're beautiful. That being said, it's okay to have insecurities, but it shouldn't consume like our whole identity. And if people are putting you down or making you feel like shit, that says way more about that person's personality than actually the way that you actually look. And she saw it and she replied and she hearted it and she said that it made her day. So I truly do hope that it helped her on some level. But yeah, I hope people realise that talking about yourself in a certain way is not okay. And I hope that they can then help others to realise that too. The second thing that I'd like to point out and talk about is that I am not demonising makeup or hair or nails or being glamorous or anything like that. I know a lot of glow up videos show these content creators doing their makeup and getting their hair done, their nails done, going for maybe a spa day or a skin treatment, buying some new clothes, whatever. And I'm not saying that this stuff is bad, right? I actually think a lot of this stuff is really good and it empowers people. Like, makeup is art and I love it so much, and it can be used in so many different ways to be so empowering and expressive. Side note, I'm watching the newest season of RuPaul's Drag Race UK right now. I love Bones and I love Chai Tea. They're like probably my favourite. But I look forward to watching it because I love the glamour. I love watching them do their makeup and I love seeing the different looks and the different outfits that they wear and the different wigs and the makeup. I love the whole experience and the artistry. And yeah, I think all of these things are just so amazing. And they can also just make a huge impact for people's mental and emotional health, because if you feel good, it's going to radiate from within and show on the outside too. And I think these things just need to be used in the right way though, and with the right intentions. What I mean by this is I want you to use these things because you want to, and in a way that makes you feel like yourself and not in a way that covers you up. And what I mean by this is I don't want you to use these things as a way that covers your true self up. For example, I love Dita Von Teese, and Dita is all about glamour. She is old Hollywood glamour. She's feathers, she's rhinestones, she's hair, she's makeup, she's whatever. She's fabulous. And, you know, that's her and she owns it. She embraces it. She's proud of it. It makes her feel good and confident because she is embodying her true self and what it means for her to be herself to her core. Do you think she's going to look at, say, the clean girl trend or aesthetic and be insecure and think, oh no, I have to get rid of all of this and wear a white t-shirt and put my hair into a slick back ponytail and wear minimal makeup? No, because that's just not her. It's just a trend and she would be covering up her true self. Even though maybe she would be wearing minimal or no makeup or whatever, she would still be covered up because that's not who she is. She would just be pretending to be something she's not. So yeah, that was just an example. I'm not saying the clean girl aesthetic is bad, by the way. If you resonate with that and it's you, then own it and do it and embody it. But my point is, don't follow trends or be something you're not just to fit in or please others. Don't chase happiness or acceptance. If you're chasing happiness and acceptance, but you're running away from yourself, then you are literally also running away from the things that you are trying to chase. Because if you're not being yourself, you will always feel unfulfilled and unhappy and lonely. Do you think that if you are being someone else, your life is going to feel good? No. It's going to feel weird, it's going to feel wrong and bad, because the things in your life are for the person you are pretending to be and not for the person you actually are. Another thing as well, I'm not saying that trends are bad. I'm not saying you have to stay and be one thing all your life. We are constantly growing and changing. We will always go through different phases of life and always rediscover ourselves. I think trends can be used in a really good way to discover yourself and what you like and what you don't like. I really loved the corset trend, but I didn't really like any in the shops. So I went on Vinted and I found some vintage ones and I wore those, and I felt like myself in them. Or, you know, I really love tortoiseshell or like the animal print trends. I also just really love cottagecore, like woodlandcore aesthetics as an inspiration of what I want my life to look like. And, you know, this idea of slow living and the countryside. So I think trends are really fun and can help us discover ourselves and what we want. but sometimes trends get unhealthy in we put ourselves under constant pressure to keep up with trends and overconsume. So it's not only harmful to our mental health, our creativity, and our bank accounts, and our sense of self, but it's also detrimental to the environment, our home, our planet, because a lot of people just use trends as a way to fit in and be cool, right? Which I also think is such a strange concept of being on trend, because everyone wants to stay on trend and seem cool or fit in or whatever. I don't really know people's intentions for being on trend, to be honest, and I don't even think they know what they want to stay on trend for so badly as well. But there's such an emphasis now as well about being the cool girl or being the it girl, almost like performative individualism, for lack of a better word. And being cool and on trend, but also not on trend and doing something different. But then it's made into a trend because everyone wants to be like the cool girl, and there's just this lack of creativity or originality. Don't get me wrong, if you have an interest in fashion and you want to keep up with the trends, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But when it starts to get a bit harmful to your mental health and the planet, that's when we need to think, okay, we need to take a step back, we need to take a deep breath, and we need to make some changes. Something else I want to mention is that I'm also not demonizing plastic surgery. Again, I think it's a good thing if it makes you feel like yourself, or if you obviously need it for medical reasons. But again, you should never do anything just because it's trendy, especially plastic surgery. Like, are you kidding me? All that money, you are literally getting surgery. Like, that's a big thing, at least in my opinion. Why would you do all of that just because it's trends? Trends come and go, you can't keep up, everything changes. If you're chasing trends, you're running away from yourself, and you will never be satisfied because it's just something going and keeps changing. There are so many people, so many hot people walking around who do not know they are hot, and that is such a tragedy. Like, there are so many people walking around with really unique, beautiful, stunning features on their face that they want to change, or that they want to get rid of because it's just not trendy, or it's not seen as societally acceptable. Guess what, baby? All of that is bullshit. I promise you. I was watching a video the other day, and this like shook me to the core, and also realized like how much of all of this is just bullshit. I was watching a video, and in the video, the woman was talking about how her sister told her that her nose was on trend right now. And she was just like, I just couldn't believe it, like, my nose, like, and it made everything so clear to me how ridiculous this whole thing is, because you could literally feel so good about yourself one week because your features are, quote, on trend. And then suddenly next week you could feel so bad about yourself because something else is on trend. And the whole thing is just like, it's wild to me. It's crazy. And we are so obsessed with having one kind of beauty and one kind of face, and it changes so rapidly. How are we supposed to keep up anyway? But we can't. I don't know why we're obsessed with having one idea of beauty and only one thing that is beautiful or attractive at a time. There is so much beauty in the world, so much difference in the world. Why limit ourselves to one idea of beauty, or why limit ourselves to one idea of beauty at a time? I think beauty can be found in pretty much everyone, and differences should be celebrated. I know I named this video Normalise Normal Faces, and I know people are probably maybe thinking, what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is that we need to stop apologising or feeling embarrassed or feeling ashamed of our faces just because all of these companies want to make money off of our insecurities. Our smile lines, our acne, our scars, our birthmarks, our big noses, our small noses, our facial differences, like whatever it is that you are told you should be insecure about is actually just normal, and it's your face. And guess what? It's normal, it's natural, it's beautiful, it's unique. And now you're probably thinking, Moles, how can my face be normal and be unique at the same time? Well, what I mean by this is that we all have normal, natural faces, right? It's the face we were born with. It might have changed over the years. It probably has changed over the years, because guess what? Faces change over the years. But it's a normal face, right? We're all born with them. But they are also unique. Even if you have an identical twin, there is still going to be something that is unique in your appearance that only you have and only you bring to the table. Because we aren't clones, right? We are us. We are unique, we are different, and there is beauty in that. And we should normalise that. Because right now, It's normal to feel insecure or want to apologise or hide ourselves for things that next week we might want to show off or might make us feel really confident just because of trends and money. And it's ridiculous. Why wait till next week when you can just feel good now? It shouldn't be normal for our appearance, our beautiful faces to be a source of mental anguish, and yet it is. Here we are living. Every dystopian novel is real and we are living it right now. We should be all trying to normalise self-love and our faces and whatever way we choose to present ourselves, rather than hiding away because we have a nose that's not trendy this week. And I hope that all made sense. That's the end of my yap. And if you are really struggling with this, then I want to leave you with this little piece of advice that may or may not help. It helped me, like it put things into perspective for me. And that is the concept of just accepting the way that you look, accepting your face. You don't have to love it, right? But you don't have to hate it either. Just start by accepting it. If you're at a place where like you can't love your appearance, then like I understand, girl, okay? Just accept it for now, right? If that's all you can do today, that's all you can do today. I get it, I've been there. Just accept that this is what we're working with. This is the face that we were born with. The more you accept it, the more the love will come in time, and the more the need for change or fitting in will go away. Now, I don't mean acceptance as in just laying down and not changing and staying the same forever. No, as we've already established, we are always growing and changing and coming back to ourselves. We go through so many different life phases. It's good to change. You might think that this makeup or these clothes or this hair, it was for me, but now it's not me anymore, and that's okay. It's okay to use trends and makeup and other things to explore who you are and how you want to present yourself. But the first step is just accepting who you are, accepting your face. You don't have to love it, just accept it and make small steps to embrace yourself. Yeah, the message is, it's literally all bullshit, and like you just need to accept yourself and love yourself, because I promise you have such a normal, beautiful face that is so different and unique and gorgeous and normal and so many other things, and you shouldn't want to hide or feel embarrassed, and you should never apologise for the way that you look.